Prints as original multiples. In this presentation, I will address the concept of prints as original multiples, a subject that raises issues about the print as a work of art, but also more broadly poses questions about originality and authenticity. In the mid-1960s, the Print Council of America, an organization of museum curators and gallery dealers, published a book titled What is an Original Print that was distributed widely. Their concept of what defines an original print has remained fairly constant and is represented today on their website. The noun print is used to designate any image that has been transferred from a matrix to a support. Stamps, newspapers, currency, cereal boxes, in addition to etchings by Rembrandt and screen prints by Andy Warhol, are all prints. In order to distinguish commercial or utilitarian prints from artworks, terms such as original print or fine print are used. One could say that the phrase original print designates a printed image that the artist has declared to be the carrier of cultural significance, whether it be an image, words, a diagram, or any combination. In the history of commerce of art, original print is a designation of artistic intention. Differentiating the art print from other forms of prints raises essential questions about what is art. In 1954, William Ivins, the first curator of prints at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, published a history of printmaking titled Prints and Visual Communication. Ivins stressed the importance of repeatable visual images to the development of art, science, and commerce, offering a broader understanding of the printed arts. He states that while the number of printed pictures and designs that have been made as works of art is very large, the number made to convey visual information is many times greater. In many respects, Ivins acknowledges the limitations he faced as a curator to fully represent printmaking in the museum's collection. The Print Council of America website continues, original prints are expressions of human creativity, artistry, and imagination, and valued for their aesthetics, emotional power, unique characteristics, historical or social significance, and visual communication. What distinguishes prints from other artistic media, such as a unique painting or drawing, is that there can be multiple copies of an image. In the vast majority of cases, it is also the artist's wish to create multiple copies or impressions of their work. Although it is the artist's intent that defines a work of art and not the medium, it is helpful to know how prints are created in order to recognize their appearance. The PCA stresses the role of the artist in creating a printed matrix using one or more techniques such as woodcut, intaglio, lithography, and screen print, for example. Even if the work is printed by a technician, the role of the artist in creating the matrix is central to their conception of the work's originality. Here we see the artist Toyin Adutola drawing on a lithographic stone at the Tamarind Institute. The 20th century artist most representative of an original printmaker is the Englishman Stanley William Hayter, who was born in 1901 and lived to 1988, who established Atelier 17, an intaglio studio in Paris in the 1930s, which he relocated to New York during the Second World War and then back to Paris following the war. Hayter took a very experimental approach to the medium, pursuing image making with an emphasis on innovative processes and techniques and spontaneously informed by concepts of surrealism and the subconscious. In contrast, much of the print culture people experience is not considered or would not be considered original art by the Print Council of America. In his 2014 book, The History of Chromolithography, Michael Twyman writes about the methods used in the 19th century to produce millions of color images for commercial purposes for a growing middle class in the United States, and Europe. The American artist Joseph Pennell detested these forms of printmaking and wrote, quote, "When printed on canvas or an imitation of canvas, they're highly deceptive for a moment, but it is a matter of technical perfection. There is not artistic merit about them," unquote. Pennell's disqualification of reproductive forms of printmaking presents real challenges to the conceptual and historical importance of the medium. Marcel Duchamp, one of the most important 20th century artists, produced limited edition reproductions of his best known artworks in the form of portfolio boxes or valises. Duchamp was closely involved in making and printing of the plates for this project, and his valises, such as this, challenge what we define as a printed multiple. The requirement that the artist's hand is involved in the creation of a printing matrix was also challenged in the 1960s by artists such as Andy Warhol, who used commercial photo stencil methods in the creation of their prints as screen printed paintings as well. If originality is not strictly the result of process, maybe it's established by the artist, him or herself. Seymour Hayden, who helped establish the Royal Society of Painter, Engraver, Etchers, and Engravers in 1880, originally thought the most important aspect of the print was its function as a multiple, and so included his signature, like many previous artists, in the printing plate or block, and allowed as many impressions as could be pulled. However, he later saw that the quality of the prints did not always meet his technical standards, so that he then advocated for artists to sign the margins of the print in pencil to confirm the print's quality. Hayden's brother-in-law, the American artist James McNeill Whistler, had other approaches to designating a print's originality. In addition to signing a print in pencil, Whistler adopted the practice of limiting the number of prints that could be pulled from a plate, and noted the number in the edition on the paper as well as signing the paper. Today, artistic prints typically are signed in pencil, with the edition information and the title included, either on the face of the print or its reverse side. Some artists or print shops also use a chop embossment or form of rubber stamp on the prints to designate their signature or the press where the print was produced. Each print in the edition is designated as a fraction of the whole number of prints produced. For prints produced in a professional workshop under the direction of a master printer, one impression is designated as bon à tirer, or in French meaning good to pull, and serves as a benchmark for the rest of the edition. In principle, first and last impressions in an edition should be consistent. Other edition classifications might include a trial proof, which is different from the edition, a printer's proof for assistance to the project, or an artist's proof, which the artist might keep separate from the edition. The concept of a limited edition is based on economic theories of supply and demand. Limiting the size of an edition results in scarcity, which is intended to increase the market value of the print. It seems that even beef jerky today can be produced in a limited edition. In his book, Culture of the Copy, Hillel Schwartz makes a case that originality is less important than multiplicity. Schwartz extends concepts in Walter Benjamin's 1936 essay, The Work of Art in the Age of Mechanical Reproduction, which traces the history of the graphic arts and privileged exhibition value of the multiple over a single work of art. Drawing from a broad range of scholarship and research, Schwartz unpacks the importance of copies in the form of replicas, duplicates, facsimiles, reproductions, reenactments, doppelgangers, and even twin studies. Like Internet memes, Schwartz makes a case that the social and cultural authority of copies is extremely important on our society and arts. In one chapter titled Ditto, Schwartz addresses the role of the Xerox machine as part of the office workplace, connecting issues of gender to histories of mechanical reproduction. He documents that most of the early uses of copy machines as an art medium were done by female artists, presumably on the copy machine at work. Whether something is defined as art may be less important than its cultural influence. In this context, we might understand an artist like Thomas Kinkade, whose paintings are photomechanically reproduced, sometimes with additional hand painting, and sold in various sizes with different framing styles depending upon the taste of the consumer. Kinkade is essentially adapting the formula of the chromolithographer who printed on canvas from the 19th century. His work can be seen in doctors' offices and various homes across America today. Prints by popular modernists such as Salvador Dali are also subject to marketing schemes that assert originality within systems of limited production and authentication. There is a case of Dali actually signing and numbering a stack of unprinted paper for an advance payment from a print publisher. If the authenticity of the print is inherently problematic, then maybe questions of authenticity become one of its defining features as an art medium. The Danish art collective Superflex deliberately tests questions of originality by setting up copy shops in which they sell reproductions of various consumer items, often generating cease and desist actions from major manufacturers. Even artists such as Barbara Kruger, whose 1986 print, "I Shop, Therefore I Am," is a target of one of their prints. Interrogating reproducibility is central to Arthur Danto's 1992 book Beyond the Brillo Box, The Visual Arts in Post-Historical Perspective, making the case that Andy Warhol's 1964 Brillo boxes, a series of screen-printed wooden boxes that reproduced commercial packaging designed by product and graphic designer James Harvey, brought the established trajectory of Western art to an end. Because this work confronted questions of originality and authenticity, Danto asserted that Brillo boxes subverted a history of art that privileged singular originality. Despite this, artists continue to use hand printing and concepts of the handmade as markers of authenticity, whether they're publishing houses advertising in popular magazines like Juxtapose, or as evidenced by the resurgence of letterpress printing for both art and design work. In a world of the virtual, people find meaning and truth in the physical. The print work of Thomas Kilper is a good case in point. Kilper, a German artist based in Berlin, creates large-scale relief prints carved in the floors of buildings with images that comment on the history and uses of those buildings, installing the resulting print works in the same spaces where they were made. Kilper's art is both original and multiple.